Hi there, Emma Drew here, and welcome to another episode of Confessions of a YouTuber, the podcast that makes YouTube simple and gets up close and personal with successful YouTube creators, helping you understand what it takes to grow your YouTube channel the easy way. I'd like to thank TubeBuddy for sponsoring today's show. TubeBuddy is a free browser extension that helps you easily manage and optimize your YouTube channel. It's the YouTube channel tool I personally can't live without. For more information, head over to tubebuddy.com or check out their link in the show notes below. I'm so excited today because today's guest has got 35,000 subscribers and over 5.5 million views on her amazing channel. She's also a blogger and entrepreneur. So without further ado, let's welcome the lovely Alicia Fairclough. Hi Alicia, how are you?
Hi Emma, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. I've just been looking at your channel. It's an interesting subject, first of all. Hypnosis.
A little bit different.
Yes. It's something actually that I've always been quite intrigued about. And it has obviously something that, it's come on TV and people talk about it, but I've never fully understood it. Perhaps could you tell me a little bit about your channel and what you offer and what people can expect?
So my whole channel is based around hypnosis and meditation for wellness. So the biggest thing that I do on there is sleep, followed by, I would say, anxiety is the second biggest. People come to my channel because they've usually tried everything for going to sleep. Obviously, nothing's working for them because usually Googling hypnosis for sleep is not the first thing that you do when you can't sleep. They've usually tried everything else. So by the time they get to me, they're at their wit's end and they're really willing to try just about anything. And what I've found is that if you can help somebody sleep when they haven't been able to, you have them for life. So they will then come and look at the other things I've got up there, such as hypnosis for public speaking, beginners meditation videos. And there's also a little bit of a how-to and Q&A aspect because I did find after a while that I was getting so many questions and also just comments that really were showing how much misinformation is out there about what hypnosis and meditation is and what it can do. So there is a little bit of an education component as well, but it's all hypnosis and meditation for wellness is my summary.
So what's it actually called? Is it self-titled?
It is now. Yeah, it used to be My Online Hypno back when I had my very first website, which was My Online Hypno, and it just kind of evolved. And now I just go by Alicia Fairclough.
So if I was to search for you, I would just put in your name.
That's right.
Okay. So tell me a bit about how you got into hypnosis and how did you get into this niche?
When I was in high school, my high school in the senior years hired a hypnotherapist to help us with exam anxiety and study techniques. And I thought he was really wonderful. His name was Roger Johnston, and he was a police detective from Sydney who ended up moving into hypnosis, and he would use hypnosis to help counsel victims of violent crimes and sexual assaults. And he was just so captivating because as a teenager, he would come and show us gory crime scene pictures to kind of get us in and get us interested. And then he would teach us how to relax. And he would also do a little bit of fun sort of stage hypnosis as well. So that was my first experience with that. And it kind of just stayed with me. And then I moved away from it because I didn't, as a 16, 17-year-old going to university, really see a career in hypnosis. No one was going to hire you to be a hypnotherapist. So I went and became a school teacher. And that lasted about 5 minutes.
And what subject were you teaching?
Primary school and high school English.
Okay.
And when I finished my degree, I decided to go and work on cruise ships. And on cruise ships, I met quite a few performers who did stage hypnosis. And whilst on there, I decided that I was going to go and study and learn all about this and start my own business. So that was back in 2009. I decided to start a wellness clinic in Vancouver that specialized in hypnosis. And I shared that clinic with a psychologist and a psychiatrist.
So did you have to train up in hypnosis?
I did. Yourself? Yeah, I went to a school out in White Rock, British Columbia. That was a really reputable school that I had heard about. And I decided to, basically, I saved up while I was on the cruise ship and came off and did an intensive program out there. So they had a long-term, sort of a 2-year part-time course, or you could go and do it over a couple of months full-time. And that's how I decided to go and do it. I finished the course on the Friday afternoon and I had my first 3 clients on the Monday. So that's where it started. Not where YouTube started, but that's where hypnosis started for me.
So that actually showed you that hypnosis was so much in demand. Were you surprised at that?
Yeah. I think the beauty of being young and naive was that it never occurred to me that starting a business was going to be hard and it might not work out. It genuinely didn't. I thought, oh, well, I've got my qualifications now, so I'll have clients.
Yes, and then you did. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was really, knowing what I know now, I think how bizarre that you even thought that, because that is certainly it makes it sound far more simple than it is, but it really genuinely just didn't occur to me. I'd had parents who had been self-employed as well, and it just didn't occur to me that it might be hard to get clients.
Wow.
I just went, oh, okay, I'm qualified, so that means I'll have clients.
Yeah. Did you find that you were able to hypnotize yourself? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I do self-hypnosis, which is really just self-meditation.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It sounds more exciting than it is, but I would say it's meditation with intention is how I describe self-hypnosis. So it's a bit more active than meditation. Yeah. In that there are techniques you can use. I think it's very helpful for people who say, oh, I can't meditate, my mind runs wild. I think they're calling it hypnosis and using hypnotic techniques.
Language as well, yeah.
Yeah, it really helps because there are so many different techniques to stop your mind from wandering, because your mind wandering is the most normal thing in the world. Everyone's mind wanders when they try to meditate, especially if they are not used to doing it. And so it's just a more active form of meditation. So if you're imagining yourself walking down the stairs, or you're imagining yourself counting down, you're just giving yourself other tools to be able to relax and put yourself into that state.
Yeah, I do find it such a fascinating subject. I remember watching something recently. I think it was a Darren Brown Netflix show, and I think he actually hypnotized people on stage, and he actually went through the history of it, and kind of sort of demyth it all,
There's so much misinformation, and stage hypnosis is such a different world to what I do on my channel, and I get asked for it all the time.
Do you?
But I never set out to be a performer. That was never what I wanted to do.
So
kind of odd that I ended up on YouTube.
So actually, how did the whole YouTube thing get started for you? I mean, at what point did you think, okay, I'm going to do this on YouTube? Or
it was a total fluke. It was a complete accident.
Tell me about it.
I was teaching a course at the school that I had attended. I was teaching a weekend seminar, and there was a technique I was describing to about 30 people, and I said to them, look, guys, we've got to move on. I don't really have time to keep doing this, or we're going to miss out on too many things. So I'll record it and I'll send it to you basically when I get home to explain the technique. And back then I didn't have a YouTube account. I didn't watch YouTube. It was back when YouTube was still really cat videos, and I didn't even go on YouTube, but YouTube was the only thing I knew of to easily upload a video.
Okay.
So I uploaded the video with this technique, and I didn't understand that overnight, for a channel that didn't have a name or a thumbnail or anything, this one video had 6,000 views and lots of comments. And
oh my goodness.
It was supposed to go to the 30 people in the class, and I didn't understand it all. I thought, this is weird. And I actually ended up getting really cranky and taking it down.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't understand it back then, because I thought, who are these strange weirdos watching my video that was supposed to be for 30 people? And I just didn't get it. And then it wasn't until a few years later that YouTube was a much bigger thing, and I kind of understood YouTube more and came up with a bit more of a strategy for it. And I never set out to be a full-time YouTuber ever, and I'm still not a full-time YouTuber. It was always a tool for my business, because I had decided, based on I just put up a couple of videos to see if anyone was interested, and they were. And then based on that, I was kind of encouraged by some of the people around me to put out something for sale. Back then, I never even had ads on my channel. I didn't turn ads on my channel for many, many years.
Right.
It was all about encouraging people to buy my product. So I would upload what I
Okay.
do. And then if you want more of it, if you like this and you want more, then you can go to my website and buy my
Okay.
videos and recordings.
So you really used it as a business tool to drive traffic to your website. Is that right?
And I still do.
And
Yep.
you still do.
But it has changed. It's evolved a lot to the point where the YouTube side of it is really catching up a lot to the sales side. So
okay, so you're
I
finding
am
it's
starting
quite
to
a
think
good
differently.
conversion?
Yeah, I am. And
Okay.
it's certainly the ad revenue side now is catching up. Previously, I didn't have ads on until just a couple of years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
So actually, sometimes they say that with monetizing your YouTube channel and the ad revenue that you get really depends on who your audience is. So how would you describe your audience?
My audience is almost entirely male, which really surprised me. I thought it was going to be all women.
Wow.
My audience is pretty
Why
much
do you
the
think
exact
that is?
opposite. I think now that I've gotten to know them and I get a lot of emails from them, I have a small but very, very dedicated audience who email me a lot. And I think men are every bit, if not more, interested in meditation and hypnosis, but they don't talk about it. They don't share my videos on their Facebook page. Women will talk to each other and say, oh, you've got to try this. You've got to go and see her. You've got to do this. Men Google it privately. And I think that's why YouTube has worked so well for them.
Right.
Because it's largely men between sort of that 26 to 36 age group is the biggest age group. Then we go older men and then younger men again. So, and I mean, it's over 80% of my audience is men in the United States in that age group.
Okay.
And I think they Google it as much as everyone else. It's just more of a private thing for them. They don't talk about it with other people.
Or share it, yeah.
But they're interested in wellness as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting point. And how do you engage with your community?
I moderate all of my comments, and I know that's a bit controversial in the world of YouTube. There are a few reasons for that. The first reason was because it started from just some of the horrible comments that you can end up with on YouTube. And I just felt that what I realized is this is my house and I won't be spoken to in that way in my house. So I started moderating all of my comments. And I figured, you know, if you want to say something about me, you can go and say it somewhere else. You're not saying it on my page. But it also, what I found it really did was it created a space where my audience became more engaged because it became a safe space. And I kept reiterating in every video that every video I ask a question of the day, pretty much every single video. And I always get massive responses to that. And I reply to almost everyone.
Yeah.
I reply for the first couple of days. I'm replying to everyone. Over time, I obviously can't keep up with every single comment, but I moderate all of them.
Yeah.
And so I see everyone's comments. I acknowledge everybody's comments.
Yeah. By doing that, what you're doing is you're really intensifying that bond, that relationship that you have with them.
Yeah. And a lot of people have said that the only reason they created an account and don't watch without signing in is because they wanted to answer me because they saw that I answer everyone and that it's a place where they're not going to be attacked on my channel. No one's being attacked.
So it's a safe place.
My channel. Yeah.
It's a safe place. It's a place where they feel like there's a like-minded community and they will not be ridiculed or also basically be supported in what their needs are.
I essentially went by dinner party rules. I always say that differences of opinions are welcome and encouraged, but if you start throwing food or abusing the guests, you'll be removed from the party. And so and the other thing I do is I'm always encouraging people to sign up to my mailing list.
Yeah.
And I do have the occasional email that goes out that asks people what they'd like to see or what they're struggling with, what kinds of videos can I make for them, and I reply to those emails as well.
And talking about your videos, actually, so was there a particular video that went viral, for example?
There were two. The thing that was a fluke is that it was my first one, was my biggest one for a long time, and I think it was just in hindsight, it was a well-titled video. It was called Amazing Sleep Hypnosis, which is what my product range of sleep videos ended up being called because of that.
Is it still up there?
It is.
Okay,
I look like I'm being held in Guantanamo Bay or something in that old video. It was filmed on my MacBook Pro with no microphone.
I know, the first ones are always the most interesting.
And then after that, I uploaded a video, which again is really just, I think it was a good use of title. I called it The Best Sleep Hypnosis. And people obviously start Googling the best sleep hypnosis when they are looking up hypnosis for sleep. And it just worked, and it's still my most watched video all the time.
Wow. So actually, you know, looking at your channel, clearly you're a successful YouTuber. But what defines success for you?
As a YouTuber, I would say it's all about the conversion to my website. I don't at all focus on subscriber count. I've never been focused on subscriber count. It's nice when I see that going up, and I think I did always want to crack that initial 10,000, because at least once you get over 10,000, there's just something that it kind of encourages you, and the growth tends to be a little bit faster once you hit 10,000.
Right. Yeah.
So there was that, but I certainly am not focused on the numbers at all. It's always been how it helps my actual business. So it was never my intention to be a full-time YouTuber. It was actually after attending my first YouTube event that I was invited to in Sydney a few years ago that I finally went home and decided to turn on ads. I'd been really afraid of turning on ads for years. And so
Why were you afraid of that?
I was worried that because my channel revolves around sleep and relaxation, that the least relaxing thing anyone's going to find is an ad popping up before they're trying to relax and go to sleep. I was concerned it was going to put people off. And because my goal wasn't to be a YouTuber, it was to use YouTube to get people to go to my website and buy my products.
Yes.
It wasn't worth putting people off to me.
Yeah.
And I also genuinely didn't believe I would make enough money from ad revenue to make it worth it to put people off. And it was after having a conversation with, actually her name was Tina Yong, and she's millions of subscribers in the beauty space now, and is well and truly beyond full-time YouTuber status. She spoke to me about it, and she said, I really think you should reconsider the ad situation. And so I decided to go and try it, and I thought I'll put it on 1 or 2 and I'll see what the reaction is. And then very quickly I decided to do it to all of them. And I was also really shocked because ad revenue was actually more than I realized. I actually thought it was just, from everything that I had heard, I didn't have other friends in the YouTube space at that time. I had always heard that ad revenue really was kind of not even pocket money. And so I had kind of thought, you know, that's obviously not worth putting people off coming to my actual business.
Yes, that's right.
For a couple of dollars in each month. I was thinking, what, for $8 a month going into my account? And then realized that obviously is not the case at all. And I was thinking, why didn't I do this ages ago?
Did it enable you to do YouTube full time?
It did. While I was living in Sydney, basically, I was always a bit anxious about going full-time YouTube. I had that fear of, I was in a very secure job.
Right.
So even though I wanted to go YouTube full-time, or not so much YouTube, but I wanted to work for myself full-time, which I had done in Vancouver, but I had a physical office. I wasn't doing YouTube back then. I'd moved back to Sydney and taken a job because I didn't have clients in Sydney. And that was the other thing. I found it really, really hard to find a physical space to work from near where I was living in Sydney.
For the filming of your videos?
For seeing people in person, for doing hypnosis sessions in person. I was not having a lot of luck with renting a space here. And I thought maybe I do want to do videos, and it just kind of evolved to the point where I decided I wanted to do all videos and not see people in person anymore, and then start creating digital products like a relaxation app and a sleep app, which then, having the ad revenue, the first thing it did was it allowed me to buy equipment to film my first product. It all just kind of went from there.
So it sounds like, you know, that YouTube, well, actually inadvertently, was giving you all these opportunities to build and grow your business.
It really did. To the point that it has definitely become the biggest tool in my business by far.
Wow. And so how does it fit in with like the other social media platforms?
It's really my only one. For instance, my Instagram is really only my personal use. I do have people from YouTube on there. I don't consider it a business tool. YouTube is entirely my business tool. I've played with the idea of a private Facebook group and all of that kind of thing. But I find YouTube and the actual business time consuming enough. And I think I would rather focus on having one really good, high quality place where I'm able to engage with people than spreading myself too thin. So it's my only social media.
Clearly it's working wonders.
Yeah.
So in terms of the challenges that you've had over maybe your YouTube journey so far, can you give us like a little maybe confession or tell us something that's been the most challenging experience for you?
I did find the comment section to be the unsolicited feedback and the personal emails that I would get to be a little bit of a challenge at first. It's certainly not something that bothers me now at all. But it's hard to separate yourself from that at first when you're still navigating what YouTube is and how to use it, to having strangers give their many, many opinions on you. Because my channel is so personal. My channel is just me. There is nothing else. So
because you have that thing where it's just you in front of the camera, and so you're really exposed, aren't you? All your thoughts, all your beliefs, all your methods of doing things, you're fully exposed to the whole world. So it can be a bit of a challenging place to be.
Yeah, so whether it's your appearance or your voice or the way you're doing something, all of that feedback, it's hard to not take it personally because it is all about
How do you deal with it then?
You just learn that it's not worth worrying about, that the benefits far outweigh the negativity on there, and it's just not worth it because it really is. At first, the reason I took the channel down is it wasn't worth it because it wasn't a business for me. It was something that I uploaded to help some people I was teaching.
Yeah, that first video.
And that was it. So I didn't understand the benefit. Now I think, imagine if you didn't have that channel up there because of just a few negative comments from other people, because for some reason you do pay attention to the negative ones more than the 10,000 lovely things that people say about how much you've helped them. And
that's just
thank
being
you so
human,
much.
isn't it?
But now moderating is what really did it for me. I just don't allow those comments, and I know that that's a bit of a controversial stance in YouTube, but I don't see it as censorship. I just see it as this is my house, and so it's my rules.
These are the rules, And actually, now that you're a YouTuber pro, I guess it gives you a lot more confidence to say, well, these are the boundaries, set your boundaries, and this is what works within your community. And you've got, a responsibility to your community that are there.
That's exactly right. I do feel that I have a responsibility to, if I'm asking people to leave comments, I have a responsibility to create a safe space where they feel that they can comment. And I just see it as maintaining that, and it really has maintained such a high quality of viewer. It's definitely, I'm all about quality over quantity.
So actually, I was going to come on to that because I'm going to talk about the quantity of videos versus the quality of videos. I mean, how do you manage that process, and how many videos do you tend to upload?
For the brief period where I considered myself full-time YouTube, I was always aiming for a video a week. The way my business is, I definitely don't have time to do that. I would love to upload more than I do. And if I considered myself a full-time YouTuber, I would have to. You couldn't sustain yourself on the number of videos that I personally am uploading. So it's with great difficulty and a whole lot of juggling that that process happens. But I definitely don't sit down and feel pressure I just have to hurry up and upload something. It's really just, do I think there's a need for this video? Can I do a good job? And do I have the time to do it right now? My goal for the rest of this year is to upload far more frequently than I have been, but I'm moving to a bit of a different model. So I'm going to experiment with doing seasons, as in a topic of, say, 10 episodes of a particular topic as a season.
I see.
So a season on health and wellness, and then take a break. And I'm thinking that will be a more sustainable model for me to work from.
So does that mean that you feed your videos into your website?
I don't anymore. I used to have a blog where I uploaded almost every video I made. Now I have aliciafairclough.com where I upload the products that I'm selling, and I have a link to my YouTube channel.
Right.
And that tends to be enough. If I have a topic that I want to blog about that a video is specifically useful to that, I'll use it, but I don't do it for every single video anymore.
Okay, but so the videos that you have on your YouTube channel, how do you convert people and basically drive traffic to your website?
I ask them in every single video, either at the beginning or end. I try to do it at the beginning, but I like to mix it up because I don't like to start every video with that. It depends on what kind of video I'm doing as well. But I'll always mention that what the benefit is of subscribing. So I have a secret playlist. This was the biggest thing actually that managed to convert people, is that I have a secret subscribers only playlist. It's basically just an unlisted playlist. And you get a link to that when you subscribe to my website. So there are other videos on there.
Wow, I love that idea.
Subscriber exclusives.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
And the other thing that converted a huge number of people was when I started doing the education videos. There are things like suggestibility tests that you can do in hypnosis to find out how suggestible you are, so how likely you are to be able to be hypnotized, and what kind of hypnosis is best for you. And I would upload videos talking about that, and then I would say, if you'd like to take the test, subscribe and I'll send you the link. And I'd have it automatically set up to send them the link when they subscribed.
I see. So when they subscribe to your YouTube channel, or when they subscribe to your website?
To my website.
I see. So it's like your free offer when they become when they sign up to your website. I see.
So I figured you need to give people something, otherwise why are they signing up? They sign up for, those are the two main reasons they're signing up. They do get things like discount codes, but primarily they get access to the secret subscribers only playlist.
That's a really good idea, because I mean it's a lot less effort for you to create something, because obviously you can create a playlist quite easily, put it on unlisted, and also what they're buying into is obviously they want your guidance, so you're going to give them the best playlist available. Would these be of your own videos or a mixture of videos?
These are all my own videos.
Okay, so they would get those things that obviously are exclusive to them once they sign up. So that's a really good use of the YouTube playlist, which I think quite often is an underplayed massive tool that people can use. So,
it is. I don't know anyone else who does it, and it works really well.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I use playlists, and I also, and within that, I'll weave in a few big ones as well as my own. And that way they're getting to watch other channels. But I think that just means that you're giving people just more expansive viewership.
Yeah, and that's how I just look at how I use YouTube, and that's how I've discovered some of my favorite YouTubers as well, is through those kinds of playlists where I've been going through a particular topic and discovered something that I may not have otherwise clicked on.
So how does YouTube fit in with your personal life? You said you worked as well, so how does it all fit in?
With great difficulty. It's certainly not, it's something that I struggle with all the time. I haven't got any magic answers for that. It's getting up at 4 a.m. and writing videos. It's doing them on the weekends. It's sometimes having to say no to fun things that I would like to do on the weekend because I really, really have to get some work out. It's, staying back at work to get things done so I can make time for myself. So it's definitely, I don't have any magic answers.
It's interesting because I meet a lot of creators and I speak to them, and we're all the same, and they have this characteristic which honestly is the same in every single one of them, and they have such a high hardworking work ethic. It's incredible. They will do anything to get those videos out and serve their community, and it has to be their peak of their top performance, or has to be their best quality video, and they take it very seriously. And this is one of the things actually that I've found quite difficult to understand, that a lot of people's impressions of YouTubers are of kids having fun and making videos. What's so difficult? And also brands as well tend to not really understand the value and the time it takes to create good video content.
Yeah, I do think these days it is gradually changing based on just the numbers. I mean, so many YouTubers have figures that major television networks are envious of.
Oh,
they would
absolutely.
kill to get that kind of viewership. So I
Yeah.
think that kind of thing, I'm not sure that it's filtering down necessarily to the smaller YouTubers yet, but it is getting there. I mean,
Yes, I mean, when they're really big channels, they do get noticed and they get in the media and they get talked
yeah.
about, etc. But every single creator goes through the same thing. Every
Oh, so
single
much work.
creator, in order to sustain their success and to grow and to keep that growth going, will need to continue to literally wake up early, get everything ready. They have to fund it. There's a lot that goes into it. So I
Yeah.
just think that, I mean, over time it has got easier because technology has meant that you get better equipment and it
Yep.
costs less. So there's things that are improving. I think generally speaking, there's a way to go before people really understand that all serious creators are doing this out of self-motivation,
Yeah,
quite
and
honestly.
you don't need to be a massive YouTuber to be making a living from YouTube. That was the biggest thing that I find, even among other creators.
Mm-hmm.
You attend YouTube events, and a lot of them don't realize the different ways that you can use YouTube. People are sort of shocked. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, but I sort of am making a living from YouTube.
Interesting, yes.
Because you don't have to be a full-time YouTuber. You can use it as part of your business. You can have products and merchandise and loads of things. But it seems like the biggest thing I notice is everyone wants to be YouTube famous and have merchandise.
Yeah.
So many of those people could just have really good products that people are interested in that they could be selling through their channel. And then they've already got their business and don't need to be focused on the subscriber count.
Mm-hmm.
When I was full-time YouTube, for the first time, I had 6,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that, yeah, I don't know anyone who does 6,000 subscribers. And even back then, I used to think, oh, I can't wait until I've got X number. There was always a number in my head thinking that was when I could be a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah.
But it was because I had a product.
Yes.
And the product was what was making the money. I didn't have ads on my channel, but I was full-time working for myself, only advertising through YouTube with 6,000 subscribers.
Yeah. I mean, it does depend on what niche you're in as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because some niches will probably be better off by getting those sponsorship deals, those brand deals. And some niches, which, like yours, might be better off by having lots of product to sell. And in effect,
I
you're
find that
selling your expertise.
certainly harder to think of brands and products that align with a channel like mine for sponsorship than say if you're a beauty YouTuber, everything about that lends itself really well to a brand sponsorship. It's such a visual medium and it's perfect for it. Whereas relaxation and sleep and anxiety, study techniques and public speaking, those kinds of things are much harder to get products that align with that.
And you have to get quite creative, don't you, if you do get approached by brands in how you're going to deliver some kind of promotion for them.
You do, because no one's interested in watching a 5-minute ad for a product.
Yeah. And, it's not like you were talking earlier, it's not the unboxing style video,
Oh my goodness. You're not a tech channel. No. Nobody's waiting to watch you open a packet of Sleepy Time tea or something.
Exactly. So what you need to do is be creative. And that's the thing about creators. Another thing I noticed about them is that they come up with so many amazing ideas, and they're just basically a pool of creative magic.
They are.
What I find with brands is they don't really have that time in their workspace to be that creative. But I think for YouTube creators, they do that all day long.
Yeah, exactly. And unless those brands are huge and have massive marketing departments behind them, the smaller brands in particular can learn a lot from collaborating with YouTubers.
That's right.
And benefit a lot from collaborating with YouTubers.
Absolutely. So what actually keeps you going and keeps you creating, coming up with your ideas? How do you get your ideas for your next video and
requests?
Content?
People are just always asking me for something.
Wow.
It's constantly, can you make a hypnosis to help me with X, Y, and Z? Can you help me with a hypnosis for studying and passing my exams? Can you help me with hypnosis for sales techniques? And I think being really responsive on my email list really helps me with that, because I reach out to people and say, what would you like to see? And I definitely don't send them constantly. And that helps with my open rates. I think people know that when I do email, it's because I've got something for them.
Yes, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in some videos, I'll do a quick poll. I think, you know what I find great for video ideas is the community tab.
What's this? Okay, yes. That's a great one.
A poll,
So I think you need about over 10,000 subscribers to get that feature.
Okay.
But once you've got it,
Yeah,
which obviously
it's
you have.
great.
So how do you use the community tab?
You can upload polls. So you can say, I might say hypnosis for sleep, hypnosis, stage hypnosis, hypnosis for public speaking. I will give a few different options and get people to vote on it.
Yep.
Every now and then I'll have some sort of just a really fun little competition where the first person to answer a correct question gets to pick the topic of the next video. Or I'll just say to people, what do you want? And write in the comments what you would love the next video to be, and it just gives me so many ideas.
I want to talk about the community feature, actually. I think a lot of people aren't using it at the moment, and they're not using it to, I think it's got a lot of potential in terms of engagement with your community. And personally, I think it's probably going to be the next big thing after the Facebook groups.
I do too. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's such a valuable tool. And I think what you just described there is that interaction that you have with your community it's like unprecedented, really. It's a really direct relationship that they have with you and you have with them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've gotten to know them as well. It's funny because particularly in the early days, it's really a bit odd because they feel like they know you so well because every single video of mine is me talking directly to the camera. I'm not doing anything other than sitting there and talking.
Yes.
So they feel like they know me, and yet I know nothing about them. So when I started asking questions, they're not always questions related to hypnosis or meditation. Some of my favorite questions that get the most responses by far, because people love telling you about themselves because they watch you all the time, is, for example, one of the most responded to questions I ever asked was, where are you from and what is it known for?
Oh, wow. That's a good
question.
question.
I said, I just want to get to know who you are. So what town or what city are you from and what is that city or town known for?
Yeah.
And the responses were phenomenal. People were emailing it to me, commenting on it. And I still, to this day, I mean, that was probably a year ago that I asked that question, and people still every day write to me to tell me where they're from and what it's known for.
So where did you ask that question?
Just at the end of one of my videos.
At the end, I remember doing that actually with one of my videos, and I still get that, and I think it's so sweet because people love to say where they're from. And it was one of those videos where I didn't really think about it, but it was just written in my pinned comment. It was like, you know, I've got an amazing global community and I love you all. Let me know where you are in the world. And it did excite people to, and especially because probably it was more kids. It got them quite interested in telling people. I'm obviously not asking for people's addresses, but I mean, when you
exactly, these are all adult men in the United States, and they love telling me where they're from. So it's quite interesting because it's kind of, especially when they know that you answer the comments, they know that you're listening and paying attention. So it's actually a really nice way of engaging with people. It's not just about a meditation video. They feel like they're getting to know you and you're getting to know them. I
think this is the great thing about YouTube, in that, you know, a lot of companies spend a lot of time and money on customer acquisition and all this kind of thing. But really what you're doing here is you're building a genuine community that are engaging with you, and you're building this great loyalty. So you as a business and an entrepreneur, when you design and build your products, they're with you. They're going to be loyal.
They're already there. Exactly.
Yeah. And in some ways they watch your videos and they want to kind of give back. And so
they do. And people ask, you know, when are you going to, because I didn't activate the tip jar or any, and I'm not on Patreon. And so many people say to me, are you on Patreon? We want to do something. And I say, I'm not on Patreon, but I have products. So either just watch the videos, and if you would like to buy something, then buy it. Or if you know somebody who really struggles with sleep and you think that this would be helpful for them, send them my videos and then let them decide. Just share it. And you know, that's the best way to support the channel. There are so many ways to support it, and that's it.
You mentioned Patreon. Why did you decide not to go down that road?
Because I always considered myself a business, not an optional tip. So, and I felt that it sent the wrong message to say, you know, do you want to kind of tipped me in some way. I also didn't want to have to keep up with the rewards because I've never considered myself really a full-time YouTuber. I felt that put a lot of pressure on me to keep onto a schedule of producing content to reward people for their contribution. But the biggest thing was I felt that it sent the wrong message for my business, because I always saw myself as a business with a product, and YouTube was a way of me advertising that product. So
and building your community.
Building the community, exactly. So I didn't feel that a tip or anything like that was really appropriate for me.
I mean, you make a good point, because actually, again, I started a Patreon account, and then it took me so long to figure out what I was going to do extra, and then I just felt that it wasn't really worth the extra effort, especially in sort of in the animation world. You know, it's takes a lot of time and effort to do that. So there wasn't really scope to do it. So I think it's one of those things that if you have other products, it might be better to spend your time and energy on promoting those than creating the Patreon. Although a Patreon account is helpful if you're just starting out and you're building some momentum and getting some success, and you want to sort of quickly see what the reaction is and give people an opportunity to give back to you. So I suppose it has its uses, but it
definitely has its uses, and I don't have anything against anyone having one. I just felt that for me, I was a business first and foremost, and YouTube was a tool in my business. So I never wanted it to be seen as a charitable donation that someone was giving me for being a YouTuber.
I get it. Yeah. And I like that. You know, as an entrepreneur, you've obviously got an entrepreneur head, and that's the way you're thinking. And I think that makes total sense. And, you know, you have to do what works for you, but it's amazing that all these tools are out there for us to use, and we just have to pick and choose what works for us. And I wanted to ask, what's people's reactions to you when you tell them that you're a YouTuber? Or do you not, or you know, when you go out and you're hanging out and people will say, so what do you do? And you say, well, you know, I'm a YouTuber, or I've got a YouTube channel.
Super shocked and fascinated. Super shocked, especially when they find out that it's hypnosis and meditation. But they're really, really shocked, because it's so bizarre, because they think, but you seem so normal, but you seem like you'd have a corporate job or something. And I think, there's lots of normal people on YouTube. It's actually always a very nice reaction. It's always a very curious, positive reaction. It's always met with a great deal of curiosity.
I bet. And what sort of questions do you get asked?
Can people really be hypnotized? That's probably the most common one that I get really sick about.
I was coming to that question.
Because it's always kind of like, well, that's what my channel's about, so I'm not uploading it for the fun of for something that doesn't work.
Okay.
But I understand where it comes from. It's always just out of curiosity, and it's just because they don't know, they're interested.
I know we've talked a little bit about sort of the way you monetize your channel, but one thing I wanted to ask was, have brands approached you personally, or do you ever approach brands to perhaps do some brand deals or sponsorships?
I have done a couple. I used to be on Grapevine. Was the first time I ever jumped on a platform to collaborate with a brand, and I had a couple reach out to me and vice versa. I do find it hard to it's really got to fit with my channel. So I do have the occasional company reaching out to me, and more often than not, I say no. I do say to them, look, you're welcome to send me a sample of your product, and if I like it, I would say 9 times out of 10, I've just said thank you for sending it, but it's not something that I think that aligns with my audience, and that's fine. Or I genuinely just haven't enjoyed using the product, and I don't ever do anything related to slimming teas or anything like that. I'm not comfortable with that. So the kinds of companies I'm interested in are ones that I've only very recently started reaching out to 1 or 2 companies that I actually have used their product for a long time and go, well, that makes sense to me because I genuinely like them and they do fit in with my brand and my values and what I think my audience would be interested in. But I do find you've got to get really creative, and I only reach out to them if I do believe that I have a useful way of making that happen. So of demonstrating that product or sharing it in some way. So it is a little bit tricky, but I have started reaching out to brands, and some of them have been very, very responsive. And there is actually one sponsorship coming up very soon.
Brilliant. Okay. So, but in terms of the actual filming and editing, would they help you with that, do you think? Or is this something you do yourself?
I've done it all myself. So the process has generally been, we do a little bit of back and forth about what the video content should be and the features that they want mentioned in terms of, you know, they want to make sure they've got X, Y, and Z that have been mentioned in the video. Then it's kind of up to me how I do it. I send it to them before it gets uploaded to make sure they're happy with it. Sometimes they have some changes that they want to make, or I've mispronounced a product name or something, that kind of thing. So I've had to do a little redo there. But no, they've never helped me with the filming or editing. It's always been me doing that and then just sending it off to them. And I think it's more natural too, because it needs to look like something that I do.
Yes.
It can't look like something that somebody else has edited and
plonked on
my channel that just looks out of place.
Yeah. Actually, talking about how you do your filming and create your content, do you do all that yourself, or do you outsource any work, or what parts of it do you do?
I still do all of it myself.
Everything.
Scripting,
filming, editing?
Scripting, filming, editing, it's all me. Editing, I've managed to get down to an art now. I've got my little secret techniques that I can make almost any video in one, at most 2 cuts.
Well, please do share.
That's my YouTuber confession, is that everything I do is scripted.
Fantastic.
Because even if it looks like it's not scripted, it's scripted.
So are you using a teleprompter? That's
my biggest secret, is that I don't use a teleprompter. No, I'll tell you what it is. I found that I did try a teleprompter and I was terrible at reading it. You can see 1 or 2 videos where I was experimenting it and it just looks like I'm reading off a book in front of me.
Yeah.
What I discovered, because words are so important in hypnosis and meditation, and it's just me. My videos kind of break the YouTube rules when they say that all videos should be kind of under 6 minutes and that kind of thing. My most popular videos are over 30 minutes.
Okay.
So
I get that though.
Yeah, it makes sense for my kind of channel.
Yes, that's right.
But if anyone who's ever tried to speak for 30 minutes non-stop and not say or or stumble on a word knows that it's basically impossible.
Yes.
So what I do is I write the script and I record it onto my phone, and then I put in an ear pod, and there is a reason why in all my videos my hair is the same style, covering one side of my ear, and I am playing it quietly with prompts back into my ear as I'm recording, and that means that I can do an entire 30-minute video, sometimes without stumbling at all. Sometimes you cough or you sneeze or something and you've got to start again, but it's one nice little break, and that's all I've got to edit out, is just the quick beginning, middle, break and end, and nothing else.
That's such a clever way of doing it.
Most helpful thing in the world, because before that it took me such a long time. I was studying scripts and trying to memorize things, and it was becoming impossible. So for 30 minutes of speech, it just wasn't working.
It's not feasible, is it, really?
No. Not without having to edit every few seconds.
And this way you'd get to just put the camera on roll, and then listen to what it is that you're about to say, listen to a bit of your script, then obviously present that to the camera, and then you stop and you listen again, and then that's a really clever way of doing it.
Keep it going. Now I can
just keep it going,
for the whole thing, and I don't stop it all now. But sometimes, I mean, if it's Q&A video, I'll go off the cuff. I'll always have a look at what I want to say first, because I don't want to have to edit out the ums and ahs and me thinking about what I want to say. Some of them are a little bit more stage hypnosis-y, so it might be a pocket watch hypnosis, or a really popular one was I did a fidget spinner hypnosis when fidget spinners were big.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that took off quite well, so that's a little bit trickier, but I still always know what I want to do and what I want to say.
Yeah. How did you find using something that was trending, like the fidget spinner?
Fantastic.
It did well for your channel, do
Yeah,
you think?
I'd been listening to all of the YouTube advice about finding things that are in the news, and I used to think, how are you supposed to do that if you're a hypnosis and meditation channel? Like, I can't exactly
That's very
use
challenging.
Jennifer Aniston's breakup as part of my title or anything like that. But as soon as I saw fidget spinners, at first I thought, oh God, what are these? And then the second thing I thought once I saw it was I should hypnotize people with that. I could use that. And one day I went to the shops first thing in the morning. I was waiting for them to open, and I was in the line with every 7-year-old and their parents trying to get a fidget spinner, and went straight home, filmed it and uploaded it within about 2 hours, and straight away it was taking off.
That's the way to do it. Have you done any more since?
New audience. It did prompt me to do a little bit more of the kind of fun stuff and less therapeutic things. So I got a lot of requests after that. So after that, I did another pocket watch hypnosis. I started doing, there are various techniques that you can use with your hands, like a snail technique. So it's kind of moving 2 fingers, almost like a snail head, and getting people to focus on that. And those are actually really, really popular with the younger audience, teenagers.
I guess with some of the using trending articles and trending products or whatever into sort of your videos or in your niche, I guess you have to be careful that you're not attracting people who won't stick around. I mean,
exactly.
It's a fine balance, really, isn't there?
It is. It's still got to fit in with the channel. It's got to be worth it. And I use it as my audience are really, really interested in hypnosis tests. So sometimes just seeing, will this particular technique work on them? So I'm all about showing lots of different techniques and saying to people, just because you can't be hypnotized by this one person or this one technique doesn't mean you can't be hypnotized, and it's worth trying all of these different things. Or same with meditations. Some meditations would absolutely drive me up the wall listening to them, and I just wouldn't be able to do it. And then others I find really helpful. So I just like telling people that's one of the biggest questions I get is, I can't be hypnotized. What do I do? What am I doing wrong? Like, you're not doing anything wrong. Just keep watching and keep trying. It's like anything, practice.
Sounds like you have a high success rate anyway with your viewers, and obviously they convert well to your customers.
Back, so,
they keep coming back, which is great for your YouTube watch time, which again helps you in your suggested videos.
Exactly.
So, and you just have to keep at it and keep understanding your audience, which it sounds like you do really well. What advice would you be able to give to people who might be starting their YouTube or actually want to take their channel to the next level like you did in their niche, whatever that niche is?
I think the biggest piece of advice is to remember that YouTube is the second biggest search engine, and you need to plan your content around that. So thinking about what are people searching for, typing into the search box to see what's auto-completing around your topic, and thinking about why people would watch your content and how they're going to find it. So titling your videos appropriately is probably the biggest thing. That, and not getting caught up in the gear. Everyone seems to be, I don't have enough money for this camera and I'm saving to get this before they'll even do a video.
Yes. Sometimes the optimization that you can put on your channel is much more valuable than the actual video gear that you're using to create the video.
Far more. I mean,
you do your own optimization, do you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do everything myself. The only stuff I've ever outsourced was when I was creating my app and my website, those kinds of things, because I did try doing the website myself and found I could spend so much time learning how to do it myself, or I could just concede that sometimes you have to outsource. Playing to your strengths and outsourcing your weaknesses. So, because at some point you do have to concede that you cannot do every single thing. You can't be the script writer and the on-screen face and the editor and the filmer. So your production and talent and all of that stuff, and also building the website and the app.
Well,
being the
quite
developer.
often
Like, just find
YouTubers
somebody
do,
else.
yeah, and quite often, YouTubers do pretty much, they do all of that. And then when they
Yeah,
expand and they get really big, they might bring in a team to help. I think on the
yeah,
business side, especially for you, when you're actually trying to create a product that people are going to pay for, you want to make sure that that's all done to your
yeah.
best ability. And if that means bringing other people in to do the website and the product creation, then that's what you have to do. So what improvements would you like to see on the platform?
On YouTube,
Yeah.
I think getting better at filtering troll accounts, which
Mm-hmm.
they definitely are. I mean, it's always going to be a bit of an issue, and avoiding anything like adpocalypse ever again, because that is obviously really scary to people who make such a big portion of their living from
Yeah,
ads.
that's right.
Yeah, so
So what would help
humans
your niche
checking
in
channels.
particular, your channel?
I'm pretty fortunate because there's nothing I do that's particularly controversial. So nothing gets flagged as inappropriate. I've had probably 2 videos where that's happened and it was quite quickly overruled and I was
Mm-hmm.
allowed to monetize again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, helping with the education around copyright and music content,
Yes.
because it can get so
Mm-hmm.
confusing
Mm-hmm.
what you can and can't use, what
Yeah.
you can use from the YouTube library.
Yeah.
And there's always so much misinformation. I think YouTube just need to be a little bit better at communicating with everyone
Mm-hmm.
clearly about what the rules are so that people can avoid getting penalized.
That's right. It's a good point. And where do you get your music from for your channel? Do you use
I
the library?
almost use none. I don't use very much music. That's another thing that I asked my audience about because I was really getting quite stressed out about buying royalty-free music. And I do have somebody that I purchase royalty-free music with a license from, so I can use it. And so anytime it gets flagged, I copy and paste the license, and YouTube is very quick to respond to that. So that's been good. But I did ask my audience, I did a poll about whether or not they prefer music, and most of them actually either preferred no music or they didn't care. And so that was great for me because I was stressing about something that they didn't even want. And now on some of the products that I sell, I can give them the option of, when I do, for example, custom videos for people, I'll ask them, do you want background music? Yes or no? Or if I think that a particular video would be really, really great with music, I'll give them 2 versions and say, look, I know you asked for it without it, so here's that version, but I really like this, so have this as well and see what you think. But I don't purchase a lot of music. There are a couple of times I've used the YouTube library, but there's not a huge amount of meditation music on there. So
Yeah, I mean, I think music is a big topic, and maybe that's something I'll discuss in a separate show. But I have, obviously, with my channel, obviously all the recordings are owned by the channel, but I've been moving into sort of buying in royalty-free music as well recently. But that's another subject, and I'll talk about that in another podcast. So we're coming to the end of the show now, and it's been really fascinating talking to you. And hopefully we can talk a little bit more about the hypnosis techniques that I might need to use personally. So thanks for coming on the show. But just before we go, I wanted to ask you, what's next for you on YouTube or in your business?
In my business, I'm working on, I think I mentioned earlier that I'm exploring the idea of doing seasons of topics because I'm feeling a bit at the moment scattered. I get requests for so many different things. I'll get requests for, can you help me overcome a breakup? Can you help me move on from a past trauma? Can you help me with study? Can you help me with, or can you do something fun? And so I think it also helps me to be focused on a particular topic at a time. So I'm doing a season on health and hypnosis and meditation for health and wellness. And then I'll take a break after that season, come up with a new topic. So, for example, the next season could be something like a exploring stage hypnosis, where I will then go out and speak to other creators who are more specialized in that area than I am and do a season on that. And I also have more products coming up. And I do, very excitingly, have a brand that I reached out to because I loved them, who have agreed to do a collaboration. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, that's really exciting. So it goes to show that if you reach out, people are receptive to you.
They are, definitely.
That's so exciting. I really wish you all the best with that. And thanks again for joining me today and sharing all this hypnosis wisdom. I'm going to have to start looking into it. No, it's lovely. It's lovely speaking to you, and I hope to have you on again soon.
For sure.
Thanks, Alicia.
Thanks,
Take care.
Emma.
All the videos that we talked about in this podcast, I'll be putting in the show notes, so don't worry about that. You can go and check out Alicia Fairclough and her channel. Thanks for listening today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I'll see you next time. If you're looking to rapidly grow your channel but don't know where to start, then join my YouTube Audience Growth Lab, where I take you through the 5 steps to automate your YouTube success so that you can focus on what you love doing most, delivering awesome content and reaching those viewers. The great part is it's available all year round, and I'm offering the first module absolutely free when you sign up today. It's ready and waiting when you are, so now's the time to take action. You can learn more and see what other students are saying by clicking the link in the show notes below. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.